Welcome back, everybody. I hope you feel creative and inspired. Get your art supplies out and let's draw something beautiful together today. In today's episode, I tell a scary story of something that happened to me deep in the woods while we draw a beautiful piece of art together. Today's art drawing is inspired by the colors of a beautiful rainbow. All right, everyone. Welcome back, art family. We're going to tell a scary story today that really happened to me way back in the dark woods. Yeah, but before I do that, let's say we're doing a rainbow quilt today. It's going to be on 9 pages of paper. We're starting off with red, just kind of moving your marker back and forth like this if you'd like to follow along. I'm going to tell this scary story, so make sure you stay till the end so you can see this whole painting put together on 9 pages of paper like a puzzle. So from where I live in the Midwest, all my friends here in the Midwest are hunters, a lot of them deer hunters. I was never really much of a hunter, maybe more of a fisherman, but my friends all taught me into it. They said it was all such a thrill to go and hunt deer, so I thought I'd try it. But the thing about deer hunting or any kind of hunting is you have to be willing to get up early in the morning and go out in the dark, or you go in the afternoon and you hunt until it gets dark at night. And a lot of times you're alone. And that's what happened to me. I was alone when this happened. So my wife, she would take me way deep out into these dirt roads, all these country roads back far from my house that were way out in the middle of nowhere, and there was usually no one around. But that was where you wanted to hunt because that was where all the animals were. They weren't pressured by society. So I would walk way back in the woods after I learned how to hunt. It took me a while to learn how to hunt, but I'd walk way back in the woods and look for deer. And so one afternoon I decided to go, and I told my wife, I'll see you at the parking lot like we always do at 7 o'clock at night, about when it was just getting dark. I'd be there and she would meet me and pick me up. She would drop me off and pick me up at night. And this night I happened to go to a new spot. I was way back in the woods, far back in the woods by some ponds. There was a beautiful pond and hardwoods back there and leaf cover all over the ground. It was just so pretty. Well, with the kind of deer hunting that I had learned to do, it was with bow and arrow, and you had to get off of the ground, to climb up in the tree and sit up in the tree so that the scent of your scent wouldn't be drifting into the deer's nose. If you're high enough, then the deer can't smell you. I didn't know if any of you guys knew that or not, but anyway, so I was up in the tree stand, and I'd been hearing this noise all night over in some bushes, but I didn't really think much of it. I used to hearing noises. Usually it was maybe a squirrel or a rabbit or something wandering through the leaf litter, and so I didn't think much of it. But anyway, it started to get dark, and I hadn't seen any deer or anything to really shoot at that night. But I just been hearing that noise over in those bushes. Anyway, it was getting about time for me to have to get down because it was starting to get dark, and I don't know. You know, I just have this thing about being in the woods in the dark. I don't really care for that too much. So, although I did enjoy hunting, it was very peaceful and quiet. You're away from all the noise and stuff. It's just so peaceful. But I was getting down and getting ready to get down. I was getting my stuff ready to get down. And I heard that noise from over in those bushes again. And this is getting pretty dark to where I can see the ground where I'm climbing down out of the tree. I can see the ground, but I can't quite, you can't see everything. The sticks and all that kind of blends together. And all of a sudden, whatever was in those bushes ends up about 10 feet from the bottom of my tree stand. And I'm about 15 feet high up in a tree looking down on this thing. And, well, I don't know how to describe what I was seeing. Uh, this thing was about 3 or 4 feet tall. Kind of a standing on 2 legs, which is never good if it's in the woods with you, unless it's a person. And it was just standing there. It was really dark colored and fuzzy, like fur and stuff. I don't know. I was thinking about like Star Wars. You ever seen those Ewoks? You wouldn't want to see one of those in the dark, though, still, even though they're cute. But anyway, that's what this thing reminded me of, but I couldn't really. Anyway, this wasn't a nice Ewok. So, and standing there, I kind of make some noise trying to get it to leave because I got to get down. I have to meet my wife in the parking lot at dark, and if I'm not there, she's going to worry about me, and I don't know, I don't know what she's going to do, but. So, it's not moving, I'm making noise, it won't move, it's just standing there. It was just weird. So I thought, well, I have a bow and arrow, I'm not gonna hurt the thing, I'll just shoot an arrow next to it, maybe a couple feet away and see if it runs. And so I did, I shot an arrow down beside it, it landed about 4 feet away from it actually, pretty close. And I thought, oh yeah, this thing's gonna be scared when it does that. That thing was like a stone statue. It never moved. It didn't even hardly turn its head. It was just really eerie. So anyway, I'm telling you guys this scary story as we draw this beautiful rainbow quilt. Hope you guys are enjoying what you're seeing so far. Just follow along with me. We're just kind of turning the paper and just drawing different directions with these beautiful colors that we've picked out today. But yeah, so it didn't move, and I had to get down. So I slowly I gathered up my stuff and I started to slide down this tree real slowly. Not sure what was going to happen with this creature that was standing at the bottom of my tree stand. And believe me, my blood was kind of flowing there. I was kind of spooked, scary. I didn't really want to have to get down with this thing on the ground. I didn't know what it was. And rabies in an animal is not good. Even if it would have been a raccoon or something, I was still kind of, they should usually a raccoon or any kind of animal when it hears noise or sees humans, it should run unless it's got rabies. So this thing didn't run, and it's standing about 3 or 4 feet tall. So I get down. So I slide down. I'm at the base of my tree stand, getting my stuff and getting ready to leave. And well. This thing's still standing there, believe it or not, and it's not moving. I'm thinking, what is with this creature? So, anyway, I gather up my stuff, and my arrow, the thing is, I had just gotten new arrows that had cost me a little bit of money. And fortunately, one of my new arrows was stuck in the ground there beside this creature. And I was on my way down to meet my wife, and I thought, man, I'd like to get my arrow back. I just paid for all those arrows. The only problem is I'm going to have to reach down there in front of that, whatever that thing is, and I'm going to have to pull that arrow out of the ground. So I don't know what made me turn around. I was actually on my way to the car, and I thought, I better go back and get that arrow. I probably shouldn't have. So I go back to get the arrow, and the arrow's sticking by this thing that's not moving. It's just weird. Big, furry black creature standing there, kind of moving his head around a little bit, but not making any sound. Staying in the same spot like it's hunting me. Weird. But anyway, I go to grab my arrow. Nothing. It hasn't not moved. It's just dead silent to this point. So I go to grab my arrow from the ground and pull it out of the ground, which is the arrow's about 4 feet, like I said, from this creature. And when I did that, it made a noise as I pulled the arrow out of the leaf litter on the ground. It made a noise and pulled up a clump of leaves with it and stuff. And when I did that, it made a noise, and this creature reacted in not a nice way. It was fast. It went from standing still for about 15 minutes straight and not moving to lunge. I honestly, this is what it was doing. You know how a kangaroo hops? Straight forward, like with its legs, lead it forward. And I'm only about, well, maybe I was within about 10 feet at this point, and this thing started hopping right at me in the dark. It was pretty much dark, pretty close to dark by then, and it's hopping straight at me. And I got all my gear in my hand, my bows and all this stuff, my tree stand, and this thing's hopping at me. It was the scariest moment in my life, man. I thought I was going to be eaten alive by some, enraged Ewok. So, anyway, I just at the last minute remembered that my dad had always given me this like little can of this mace. It was about the size of a salt and pepper shaker, not real big, but I had this little can of mace that I always carried with me. I never had a problem, but I'm thankful that he had given me that mace because I had a little can of it, and that thing was hopping right at me really fast. I had about 3 seconds to react. So I grabbed out of my pocket, dropped the bow. I think I dropped my bow on the ground so that I could free up my hand. And I grabbed that old can of mace and I just emptied it. Just sprayed right at it where I thought this thing was. It was kind of dark, but I could still see it. And I just emptied it, and the can actually emptied. And it got to the point where, and this all happened in a split second. So the last squirt of mace that was barely draining out of that thing, and this thing's still coming, and it's right there at me, and I saw the mace can empty, and this thing's about to jump beyond me. Whatever it was, I'll never forget it. I still have chills. Ugh, I have trouble telling this story. But anyway, for some reason, the mace must have got it on that last shot, and I'm not kidding, you guys will not believe the squealing and horrible sound this thing made. And you guys ever play Sonic the Hedgehog? This thing got into a ball like a whirling tornado and just floored it down through the woods, zigzagging back and forth like a cartoon. And I'll tell you what, thank God, I just dropped to my knees and just grabbed my bow and turned around and just headed straight for the parking lot. And let me tell you, I never went back to that spot to hunt again. And I really think that if I wouldn't have had that can of mace, that I would have been Ewok food. But anyway, you guys have any idea what you think that might have been? Now, the cool thing about my story today is that it does have an explanation. A lot of stories, you guys may be haunted by something from your past, and we may never figure out what that was. What was that I saw, or what happened? And this one I have had some other hunters and people tell me what they think it was, and it really makes sense. So, what kind of animal do you guys think that could have been? If you're trying to make sense out of this story, you guys won't believe what this thing's called, and I did some research. I think I ran into one of these. Well, crazy story, and it's kind of vicious. This creature is very vicious. It's been known to rip the heads off like small game and squirrels and stuff, and I've looked it up online and I've seen it do it. So don't look it up unless you want to see it. But this thing is called a fisher, and evidently they're in the area, maybe in the area where I live, and it's like a gigantic weasel, and they are about 3 or 4 foot tall on their back legs. I know that because I was standing right next to the thing, and maybe 3 feet, I'm not sure. And I really believe I was kind of being hunted or watched by that thing. So anyway, if you guys want to ever look up the animal, it's called a fisher. So it's just like a giant weasel, and they are just vicious creatures. They're more to the north of, they live more in the north in colder climates, I think, but still it was a scary, scary thing. I'm glad I got out of there alive. I ran into a couple other little things when I hunted back in the day, but You guys can hear my cat. Now that's a different creature there. We can live with cats. He's a harmless little guy. His name's Leo. I don't know if you guys heard him crying back there, but whenever I do a video, he comes out to talk with me. So we'll just let him talk back there. Well, I'm so glad you guys could join me today and enjoy this story with me. I hope it didn't scare you too much, or is it going to give you nightmares? I may have a nightmare tonight just from retelling it. But as you guys can see, our painting's coming out pretty nice. We have a beautiful picture here today. It's almost done, and like I said, you guys, I hope you're staying with me through this, and we're going to put this together on the floor. It's going to be 9 pages. So off to the side, I have 8 other pages that look like this one. Can you imagine what this is going to look like, you guys? It's going to be just a beautiful giant rainbow quilt when we put it together. So as you guys know, we always put our paintings together on this puzzle grid at the end of drawing. So we'll just finish it up here with a couple nice little colors. And like I said, I'm glad you guys could join me. And you're part of being a part of this channel is our art family is wonderful. I can't do this without you. Like, art is made up of the sum of its parts, and so is life. And I just couldn't do this without you guys enjoying this. And I hope it inspires you. The whole mission of my channel is just to inspire younger artists. Keep your imagination flowing. Keep thinking of ideas. Half the battle sometimes is just trying to think of something to make, you know. And that's what I'm trying to do here, just to show you guys, hey, markers aren't bad. Markers don't make a mess. You don't have a lot of, you don't have a lot to clean up or anything. So yeah, we'll finish this off with, you guys pick a color out of this bowl. Look what I've been doing with this bowl. That's kind of a cool picture there. It's just all, it'd be kind of a cool, you can see art in anything. But anyway, let's finish it up with let's see what we got here. A little orange. It's probably one of my favorite colors of all time, so just because of the fall. All right, finished up with a little orange there. We'll see you guys on the floor, and we're going to put this thing together like a beautiful masterpiece of a puzzle. I'll see you in a minute. All right, everybody, here's the drawing we just finished together at the table, telling that scary story. We're going to put this last piece in place and see how it looks. We've got our 8 other drawings that we had drawn off to the side. It's a big, beautiful 9-piece abstract painting that we finished together. Look at that. Let's put our last piece in place. That sure is pretty, you guys. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed drawing along with me today and you feel inspired and creative. Thanks again for joining me, and get your art supplies out and draw something beautiful for yourself today. Thanks for watching.